And welcome back to the show where you should get all of your news from and just copy and paste all of my opinions as your own. It's time to take a little bit of break from politics and hop into store brand TMZ. Go ahead, take us away. Justin Bieber! All right, this week on store brand TMZ, I fixed it. I fixed the lower third down there. You like that? It's finally better. I finally remembered to do it. This week on Store Brand TMZ, this is a food reviewer. So it's what is the deal with these people that go out to restaurants and record themselves eating? I mean, these are truly the worst people on the planet. But this woman, she's a food reviewer on the Tic Tac, and someone got rather annoyed by her content creation interrupting their breakfast. Now, I'm going to warn you, it's in England, so you may be able to smell the stench of their rotting teeth through the screen. Go ahead and plug your nose. Otherwise, here we go.
Subtle sweetness and tomatoey sauce. I like the toast, of course, who doesn't like Lurpak butter? And the bacon, I've always liked Wetherspoons.
Excuse me, I actually do not agree with you filming all that and doing a review on the food, right?
Sorry?
I think it's absolutely disgusting.
What?
Right, I actually find it disgusting. Right, I find it really, really bad, both of you.
Why? Can you explain why?
Eh?
What's the issue?
I find it bad.
But can you tell me why?
Because it's disgusting how you're doing it.
Why?
You shouldn't be doing it.
Okay, can you give me a reason?
You're just sat there eating like a fucking pig, love.
You're a disgusting human being. I can't believe you just said that to me.
I am, really am.
And I got you on camera as well.
Good.
Good. You're the worst person I've ever come across.
Take a look in the mirror, darling.
What a horrible person.
What did you say?
He came over and said I was a disgusting human being and a big fat pig for eating all this stuff. I've got him on camera.
That's fine. You won't say it to anyone. That's fine. Not a problem.
I can't believe I'm literally shaking. Like I can't. And he wasn't even speaking to me. He was speaking to my partner. Wow.
That's crazy.
I know we've ordered a lot of food, but we don't like just throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're a pig because you don't throw it away. You do eat all the food. You know, that's her boyfriend that goes around and what's that?
I love how at the end it just showed all of these plates coming and all the food she was getting.
Yeah, you can't say I'm not a pig as you get your third plate shoved onto the table. That's it's her boyfriend evidently goes around filming her part. Don't ever call your boyfriend your spouse. Don't call them your partner. You fuck. It irks me when people say that. Even if you're gay, just call it your boyfriend. Call him your husband, fiance, whatever. It doesn't matter. Stop saying partner. Are you guys detectives working a murder case together? No, then you're not fucking partners. Stop saying that. But so he goes around filming her. How much you want to bet that's everything her boyfriend's thought but never had the balls to say, and that guy just got it all out right there. It's okay. Look, I don't mind the people that will go and pick the food up and do the reviews in their car or their house or whatever. Where I run into problems is with this influencer culture thing, this level of narcissism that it requires to film yourself eating out in public. You're not interviewing people. You're not doing anything.
You're a loser!
They really are. You're not doing anything substantial or significant. You're not adding any value. I mean, you saw she's eating bacon, toast, and eggs. How are you going to review fucking toast on your YouTube channel? Oh, the toast is buttery. Gee, I wonder why. Would you put butter on it? What the I mean, it's serious. It's just such a level of narcissism these people have. When they bring back Alcatraz Island, we need to throw the food reviewers in it first. Send them off. Chip, I'm done with them. I'm done with the food reviewers. Who's your favorite food reviewer?
I actually have one.
Do you?
Her
Do they go to
name
the
is-
restaurants and make asses out of themselves?
No. Her name is Peach Lady on TikTok. And she's just like, she's this middle-aged lady who has like no idea what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
She just gets the food and she like shoves it in the camera. And then there's a video where she was like trying to dig peaches out of jars. And every review that she does, she has to have ice cold milk.
But she doesn't go to the restaurant and make a scene.
No, she does it all at home.
Yeah, I don't care if people want to do that. It's not my cup of tea. It's not something I'm going to watch, but I don't care if people want to do that. It's just this, it is disrupting. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I was out at a restaurant and I saw somebody at the table across filming a YouTube. You know what I would do is I would do whatever I could to sabotage it. I would start playing copyrighted music. I would walk by and yell racial slurs into the camera. Whatever I could do to get their video demonetized, I would go out of my way to do it. Truly, truly. If you're not Guy Fieri, get the fuck out of the restaurants with your on-camera reviews, okay? All right. Next one here. Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Sounds like they're engaged. Sounds like those two young lovebirds are finally going to tie the knot. What do you think the wedding's going to be? You think they'll do it in Vegas? Be a Las Vegas wedding down there? How mad are Bill's kids? That's the listen. Belichick, he's probably got dementia. He's got this girl taking advantage of him for his fortune. The real victims here are Bill's kids. I mean, think about this for a second. This isn't some guy that worked a 9 to 5 and you're getting screwed over on the family house that's probably going to cost more in repairs than it's actually worth, right? That's not what's going on here. This is a guy who made millions of dollars, and you, his children, had to get the shit end of the stick on this. This guy's a professional football coach. The NFL draft starts in April. NFL free agency starts in March. The NFL season ends in February of the next year. He is basically working round the clock, far more than 40 hours a week. Half these games during the regular season and preseason are road games. So they're traveling, not with their families. Your core years you didn't spend with your father. You missed a ton of time with him because he was dedicated to this job, building something and, maybe sticking some stuff away so that his kids could have part of his legacy. And this fucking coos comes around and just swoops in and takes it all. Those are the victims here. Because I haven't seen any indication that his kids are these Nepo babies who don't want to work and they're just waiting for daddy to die to get his money. They put up with a bunch of shit, not being able to be with their dad. They should be able to reap some of the benefits. But this gold digger, this skeezy whore, Jordan Hudson, can come in and just take it all back or take it all from him. See, I'm trying to earn some of my MAGA listeners back by being sexist. I criticized Trump. They didn't like that, and the ones that are still listening, I'm gonna reel them back in with sexism.
I was about to tune out, so
misogyny. Yeah, and then I got you back in, right?
Yeah, you got me back in.
Will you put a good word in for me?
We were talking about Trump.
Yeah, will you put a good word in for me with your club meeting next, on Thursday?
Oh, I'll see.
They might be pretty. You might not be able to show your face being associated with me down there after this week. So all right, we got Caitlin Clark was called for a flagrant foul in a WNBA game, and this is the foul here on Angel Reese. Go ahead. So there's Angel Reese in the white, shoves Clark's teammate, grabs the rebound. Goes, no foul called. Clark does that. Reese goes full on Floptimus Prime. That was called a flagrant foul. Angel Reese got up, freaked out, tried to, do one of those fake NBA things where they pretend to start a fight, but they're only tough when all their buddies are there to hold them back and the referees are in the way. And the rest goes on and on. Well, they claimed that fans were of the Indiana Fever, which is Clark's team, were yelling racial slurs at Angel Reese. Now, there's in a world where everything is on video, nobody happened to catch this on video. No one can find it. There's no proof that anyone used a racial slur or anything even remotely close to that. But the WNBA released a statement denouncing it, claiming that they were investigating alleged racism at the game. This was all because Angel Reese's team lost. So the black girl lost, and the WNBA begins making up racism. I mean, this is already a brand that nobody watches, the WNBA. Why would you want? Why do they insist on injecting themselves into controversial politics, controversial social politics, which, by the way, peaked 5 years ago in terms of popularity? You're going to lose viewers as a sports league by interjecting yourself into the BLM nonsense nowadays. Why do they insist on doing this when they're already hemorrhaging viewers? Like I said, I've brought this up 100 times in the show. They had their most profitable year in league history last year and still lost over $30 million. That's what a train wreck the WNBA is. They're just ensuring that the grave gets dug. I mean, the grave is already dug here. At this point, they're throwing dirt over the coffin. They're like, all right, bury me. Bury me alive. Let's do this. All right, this last one here for Store Brand TMZ, Mia sent me. It's a Vice, or she told me about it. It's a Vice news article about the rise of a clown cult. So what's going on with the clown cult? Have you?
Honestly, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I read it. I forgot about it right away.
What's the rise of the clown cult trying to make clowns sexy? So it says, host Jackson Garrett explores the sudden surge of the online clown culture. This new generation of clowns, called Clown Cult, is trying to change the perception from scary and creepy to sexy and accepting. Because everyone knows, if you want to drop the creepy label, the best thing you can do is refer to yourself as a cult. That's the best way to get people to accept you, is to just openly say you're in a cult. It says, at its core, it's an all-clown immersive variety show. Charlotte/Chucky, founder of Clown Cult, producer, and clown herself, told Vice. But I think it's now become just this awesome community of clowns, artists, drag performers, burlesque performers, and nightlife performers in general. Some go as far to say that Clown Cult is a solution to the modern loneliness epidemic. With so many individuals searching for a community of accepting individuals, perhaps Clown Cult has something to offer. There you go. Guys, I solved the male loneliness epidemic. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling like blowing your brains out, get on and pay $4,000 to Connect Vinny. No, I'm kidding. Join the Clown Cult. That's all you got to do. Join the Clown Cult. They'll take you in. How long until there's a rape scandal from this? I mean, it's over under 6.5 months. I'm leaning toward under right now. I miss the good old days when the clowns were just the ICP juggalos, and they'd go to their weird concerts and they'd wear the baggy clothes. They'd smoke their meth. They'd yell whoop whoop, and they'd spray their Faygo root beer all over the place, and then they'd go back to their jobs at the vape stores. Why can't we go back to those days? When clownism meant something, not this cheap copy. Right here, this clown cult. Bullshit. Bullshit. If you want to be a clown, you're supposed to be the societal outcast, right? The juggalos embraced that. The juggalos didn't want to attract the normies. You guys are fake poser clowns. Who would have thought on a show that talks about war and money and politics, the clowns would get me the most upset? I was never a juggalo, for the record. This is a bit I'm doing right now. I don't actually care this much. I was worried that maybe some people out there would hear that and be like, was Caleb a juggalo at one point in time? No, I was not. Never, ever. God, no, I hated the juggalos. There were did you have, oh, you went to private school. You don't have any juggalos in your high school. We had a couple of them. You ever meet one?
You.
Yeah, me. Yeah. Whoop, whoop. You got my Hatchet Man tattoo and everything? Yeah. Tyrell's a former juggalo. Did you know that? He got it covered, but he had a Hatchet Man on his chest. Yeah. So you have met one. Not an active juggalo. We had a couple juggalos in our high school because I went to public school and we were kind of the ratchet school. And they would like make rap music and stuff like that. They would sit outside of the school and they'd freestyle juggalo rap battle and stuff like that. It was entertaining for about 30 seconds. And then it just got kind of sad. And then it got kind of school shooty. And then one of them did shoot up the school. And that was that. And that was Store Brand TMZ. Stay tuned. We got plenty of stuff coming up for trending this week. All right, you bunch of cretins. Before we get into trending this week, this segment is brought to you by Tactilian, TACTILIAN.com. If you use the promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D, like the title of the show, you'll save 15% off your order on the gift for the Patriot in your life. Memorial Day's coming up. Celebrate those we lost, those who made the ultimate sacrifice with a gift from Tactilian for yourself, for the vets in your life, for anybody. It doesn't matter. For your dog. They've got home and office decor. They've got apparel for you. They've got decals for your vehicle. I've got one of their decals out on my car right now, don't I, Mia? It's not a joke.
Yeah, that American flag.
Yeah, that's what that is. Hit him with the not a joke. Biden's got to chime in there.
Not a joke.
That's Tactilian.com, TACTILIAN.com, promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D, like the title of the show, you save 15% off your order at the checkout. It really is quality stuff. I wouldn't pitch it if it wasn't. I wouldn't. All the products we advertise on this show, I use myself, and a portion of the proceeds is going to go to help build homes for wounded veterans. One more time, Tactilian, TACTILIAN.com, promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D, will save you 15% off your order at the checkout, like the title of the show. All right. We're going to do Caleb Holds Up the Mirror first. We got one of those. Even though that was pretty much the lead topic, we've got another one. Go right above. We've got, Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security head, who I'm not a huge fan of. I think she's a little ditzy. I think she's done an okay job up until this point, though. She was the one that wrote in her book about how she shot her dog or some shit like that, and we were pretty critical of that. It was, at the very least, you have to agree, it was pretty politically stupid, right? Well, Kristi Noem has got a new idea on how to tackle this whole illegal immigration thing. Now, you're hearing the argument from folks on the left who are saying, hey, there's a lot of illegal immigrants that come to this country and they really just want to be a part of the country. You know, they want to become citizens and they're decent, hardworking people, and we should provide them that opportunity. You know, let's let bygones be bygones. Forget about the whole crossing the border illegally thing and let them stay here. And Kristi Noem went, you know what? Okay. I think we can work something out. So Kristi Noem and the Department of Homeland Security teamed up with someone who is an expert in this field. His name is Rob Warsoff. And he was, do you know what Rob Warsoff is known for, Mia? Do you know what his background is in? He's known for being the producer of Duck Dynasty. So they teamed up with Rob Warsoff from Duck Dynasty. I cannot make this up. This is 100% serious. I'm not kidding right now. They came up with an idea for a reality television show called The American, where immigrants compete in various challenges for a chance to fast track their U.S. citizenship.
So did the losers just get deported?
The losers
right
get shipped back to the shitholes they came from. I mean, it's like legit gladiator Coliseum stakes couldn't be much higher than they are. Kristi, no. I mean, as funny as this is, it's not funny when you realize it's real. It's a funny concept to joke about, but actually doing it is kind of dystopian. And I can say with outright certainty, myself and everyone else who voted for Donald Trump did not vote for a game show to determine who becomes a U.S. citizen and who doesn't.
This is literally like the Hunger Games.
That it is. If they're here illegally, deport them. If they're here illegally and trying to seek asylum, figure out what's going on with that. We do not need to. I mean, this is like kind of dehumanizing. I'm not comfortable with this. I don't like this. This is a little too creepy for me. And again, we go right back to what's been my primary criticism of this administration, which is the clout chasing. This is all we do. I mean, they seriously, I mentioned with the Epstein files and Pam Bondi that they were slow rolling it and treating it like it was a reality show. And what do? They come out a couple weeks later and then they pitch an actual reality show. Do you think maybe they could do like an Apprentice style where Trump will like fire them? Like, Jorge, you're fired. What are the competitions?
Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired.
What are the competitions that the immigrants could compete in? Who has a leg up in what? I feel like the Scandinavian women would just smoke everybody. You know, like the gymnasts. Those Eastern European chicks, domination. I mean, you know, anybody from a predominantly black country's not winning the swimming. The second you get there, that's cooked. Mexicans might be solid at the... Are Mexicans fast? Is that a stereotype or what?
I don't know. I'm not fast. So
That's true. You're not very fat. No, I left you behind on our walk today several times to make sure you didn't get kidnapped behind me. Anyway, the whole thing just weirds me out. Okay, let's get into trending this week. Let's talk. President Biden was recently diagnosed with prostate cancer, which had metastasized
Not a
to
joke.
his bone.
I've been waiting all show to use that one.
That was perfect timing. Do you think he said that when he had the diagnosis? Or do you think his doctor said that? That's, okay. So he's got prostate cancer that's spread to his bones. That's, jokes aside, I prayed for Biden and his family when I found that out, because you hate to hear about that for anybody. As much as I dislike him and I dislike his politics and I don't think he's a good guy, that's a bad way to go. And cancer's affected all of us in one way or another. It's not something you want to see anybody go through, anybody at all. I know we joke and I know we have fun, but that's just shitty. So that is too bad. Now, that certainly led to some questions, that diagnosis. Questions like, how long have you known he had this? What about this video from 2021 that we're going to play you real quick? Go ahead and pull this video up here, or 2022, like this.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
Now, we played that. That was 2022. We played that video on the show when it happened. When he said, that's why I and so many others have cancer from where I came from. And people wrote it off as though it was just a slip. It's just Biden being old. But there was also an article from 2021 that said a non-cancerous polyp was removed during Joe Biden's colonoscopy. Now, that's fairly standard procedure. They'll find lumps and stuff in people that aren't cancerous, and they take them out all the time. I have had, I don't even know how many, I have a certain type of mole that grows on me that is prone to turning into melanoma. There's about a 30% chance that if I don't remove them, they will turn into melanoma at some point in my life. The doctors have determined that's just not a gamble they're willing to take. I agree with them. Although the last one they cut out, they said, are you sure you want to do this? It's going to mess up your tattoo. And I'm like, well, faded tattoo, death. So it's a tough balancing act. You know what I mean? But so they cut moles out. I've never tested positive for cancer, by the way. They've always been benign, but they cut them out just to be safe. That's pretty standard. That doesn't mean he had that. I know other people that have gotten colonoscopies and had polyps removed that were not cancerous. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. None of this necessarily means anything. That's the important thing to remember. But when we hear things like his last known prostate cancer test was in 2014, or we hear things like a CBS medical contributor claiming that the White House stopped testing Biden for any type of cancer because it's too costly due to his high age, that makes us ask some questions. Questions like, how long did they know that he had cancer? Did he have cancer throughout the entirety of his administration? Now, it is possible, and it unfortunately does happen, where people will get cancer and it just pops up out of nowhere and nobody knows where it came from, or it went undiagnosed, the doctors missed it, and you're just fucked. But from what I understand, prostate cancer doesn't usually work that way. It's usually a slow roll, and if you take treatment, it's fairly controllable. Guys that catch prostate cancer semi-early almost always die of something else. That's kind of the saying, is everybody gets prostate cancer, nobody dies of it. Here's a video from an oncologist saying something similar to that. That's not just my ill-advised medical opinion. Go ahead.
Oh, more than several years. You don't get prostate cancer.
So again, I just want to stop you. So this is not speculation. If you have prostate cancer that is spread to the bone, then he's most certainly, you are saying, had it when he was president of the United States.
Oh, yeah. He did not develop it in the last 100, 200 days. He had it while he was president. He probably had it at the start of his presidency in 2021. Yes, that I don't think that.
Now, again, that's not his doctor talking. That's the professional opinion of one oncologist. Mia has very, very good experiences with oncologists, right? I was talking about that jackass in the ER. Like someone who deals with your urinary area. I was talking about the jackass.
No, that's a
Oh, it's a urologist.
urologist.
See, I'm not even a fucking doctor. Regardless, I just totally lost my train of thought. No. So that's the opinion of one oncologist. Here's what I'll say, though. I'm not going to give you a medical opinion. As you can see, I don't even know what the fuck that doctor does. Okay? That guy could be a chiropractor for all I know. But if these people are right, and he really did have it as president, think about what that means. That means that in order to keep up this illusion of stability, they didn't let him get treated. They let this shit spread to his bones that could have otherwise been controlled. And again, it just shows what they did to Fetterman that we covered a week ago, what they did to Biden with his dementia throughout the entirety of his presidency. You are merely a cog in a machine, a means to an end to these people. And they will use and abuse you in any way they see fit, as long as it doesn't hurt the bottom line, which is them staying in power. If that's really what happened, there's people that need to go to prison for this. I mean, the FBI, Kash Patel, go get off your ass and do something. People within that administration need to do time for elder abuse because they more or less killed that man. I give him a year tops if it's really in his bones right now, and that's not a good way to go. Because that's probably what they did. They know you can't send a guy in his 80s to chemotherapy or any other type of treatment like that would require without it showing visible signs. They had been lying to all these people, to the American people, really, telling them, hey, Biden's sharp as a tack, he's in perfect health, blah, 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 blah. People would notice right away. I mean, he had a cold at the debate and about fell apart. Of course we'd notice if he was going through radiation or chemo. I mean, imagine. Then they'd know the charade would be up. They wouldn't be able to keep the facade up any longer. And people would start going, hey, if you're lying to us about that, what the hell else are you lying? You covered up the president having cancer? What the hell else have you been lying to us about? And they would be cooked worse than they were in November of last year. So they kept that charade up. But that's what it looks like to me. They sacrificed this guy. They threw him to the wolves. They let cancer have its way with him as a means to stay in power, as a means to keep up the illusion that everything was hunky-dory in the White House. Now, it's no coincidence, in my opinion, that this news came out right before the Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson book, Original Sin, came out, which calls out a lot of what's going on with the Biden administration, talked about his cognitive decline and how the administration went ahead and covered it up from the American public. I hear it's a good read. I don't know how to read, so I haven't cracked it open yet. But once I learn, I will go ahead and let you guys know what I think about it. But here's a clip from that, from Alex Thompson. He's one of the authors. He was on CNN. Check out what he had to say. It's the top one.
And Alex, the fact of the fake town hall is not actually the worst part of the story that you report in the book.
Yes, other campaigns have used fake town halls. Now, I would say those town halls usually are in addition to real town halls. Joe Biden was doing neither. This fake town hall was in order to film it so they could make it into campaign commercials. They filmed it in Delaware with supporters. But Joe Biden, at this point, this is the spring of 2024, Joe Biden's town hall, which was closed to press, was so bad that campaign officials determined that it was not usable for a campaign commercial. So they took 90 minutes, 2 hours out of the president's day. They filmed an entire town hall, and they determined that it was not usable. Now, some people say this was because Joe Biden was incoherent. He could not really articulate his thoughts in a pithy or even semi-normal way. Some people just said, like, the lighting was bad. That was sort of the 2 points of view. But the point is, it shows how what the campaign status was in the spring of 2024 when they were trying to, deal with a candidate that wasn't a decline.
Wait, someone told you the lighting was bad?
That's one of the excuses.
You're saying that they spent millions of dollars to stage a town hall? Well, we didn't get the lighting right.
That was one of the excuses.
I mean,
unbelievable.
And this comes back to the question of how many people were aware of things like that but said nothing? And
Yeah, so it's shit like that. I mean, spending millions of dollars to make a fake town hall and then canceling it, claiming the lighting was bad because he was too incoherent to get a thought out. I mean, it's that kind of stuff. And I think that you want my opinion, and I don't have proof of this. My opinion is he probably had it for years. He probably had it for years. They didn't let him get tested because they wanted to keep the illusion of stability up. Then they knew this book was coming out, and they decided, you know what, let's mitigate some of the damage. Let's minimize how much they can hurt us with this and get people off of our tails. And mind you, they're not doing this, they being the folks around him, the administration and the family, they're not doing this out of kindness for Biden because they don't want him to be dunked on in this tough time as he's battling dementia and cancer. They're doing this to cover their own asses. They don't want people digging into them. They know the second this book comes out, it's the kiss of death, and everyone's going to be calling them elder abusers, and their careers are going to be over. So they, once again, have done what they've done throughout their entire careers, which is they used Joe Biden one last time, this time to protect themselves, to keep the media scrutiny off of them. This is Jake Tapper from CNN that wrote this book. This isn't some right-wing hack. This is one of their own guys that did it. So they used Biden one more time. They said, hey, but he's got cancer. No one's going to dunk on a guy with cancer. No one, except Mia. Mia will dunk on the guy with cancer all day, every day with her sound effects, with her not a joke. She's got absolutely no problem doing that. But no, I mean, it's just, It's despicable. It really is. It's elder abuse. Okay, let's go to the next one here. We've got some updates, kinda, on the Epstein files. We got them all. We got the Epstein. No, I'm kidding. We didn't get them all. But here's a clip from Kash Patel testifying in front of the Senate. Kash Patel, the FBI head, in front of Senator John Kennedy. No relation. Go ahead.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Kash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production of the public, such as CSAM.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Reid.
Now, Kash Patel has been one of the people screaming from the mountaintop for the longest time that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, and the head of the FBI has the files on his desk, and he's going to be able to release these right away. And day one, you're going to get these files. I criticized him for that before he even got the job. You can go back and check the tapes. I said that's irresponsible for him to say that. He should know that on day one, when he walks in there, not only is he going, well, I mean, first off, you alerted the enemy, the deep state, as to what you were doing. You gave them plenty of time to cover their tracks, blot stuff out, destroy documents, scatter all the papers everywhere. So you were going to be walking into a mess. Also, there's a lot of victims on there. There's a lot of minor victims on there that likely don't want their identities exposed and their lives ruined. You're going to have to omit all those names. There's thousands of documents you're going to have to go through and make sure it was totally unrealistic to get it on day one. But he said it over and over and over again. Well, we're way past day one, Kash. Where are the files? Why is it, more importantly, why has your demeanor changed so much? Check out this video of him on Fox News, him and Dan Bongino, the associate head of the FBI. Check out what they said on this when they were pressed on it.
Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
I mean, Mia, is it just me, or do those two look like they're in a hostage tape when they're talking about that? Like there's someone off camera pointing a gun at them, telling them, "You better fucking say it. Say the fucking line. Say the fucking line." They look so nervous, so uncomfortable. And those, listen, Bongino hosts a podcast. He's on the air more than I am. That guy should have no problem talking comfortably in front of a camera. And we'll play a clip from him in a minute talking about something else. Here's a before and after of Bongino on the Epstein files. Look at the demeanor here.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this.
It's 23.
Catherine Rumler, I want you, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
I mean, it's just totally different demeanor. 2 years ago, he's talking about this thing, ready to burn the whole city to the ground to figure out what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. Now he swallows his tongue. I mean, he just looks like all of a sudden, this guy who's on air several hours a day, daily, throughout the week, forgets how to talk in front of a camera. here's Bongino in the same interview. They're talking about this Operation Restore Justice they have, which I've been critical of a lot of the things Patel's done. They've done a good job with this. They've arrested over 200 pedophiles. They've rescued over 100 kids. They've gotten child pornographers, sex traffickers, just the worst of the worst, repeat offenders, sex offenders, and they've locked these people up. They've done a good job at this. Credit where it's due. But check this video out. You can see the different demeanor he has in the same exact interview on Fox News where he's asked about this Restore Justice, and then go and compare that to how he sounded in the Epstein thing, the levels of comfort when he's talking about it. Go ahead.
But you said if you're hurting a child, taking away a child's innocence, we're coming for you.
Yeah, with that knock at the door, it's on Amazon. That's going to be us. This is a huge job. And Maria, not only does it destroy innocence, I said to everyone in the room, say week 2 or 3, when Cash and I put Restoring Justice together to go get these mutts off the street, these kiddie pornographers and these animals, right? I said to everyone in the room, I said, you know why this is going to matter to America? Because everyone in the room is a child or a parent, right? There's no immaculate conceptions here, right? I love Jesus, but there's no one in the room, right? I said, this matters. And not only that, it creates generational crime, because abused kids then become abusers in a lot of these cases. I said, we have a chance right now. I said, we got to go make their lives painful, these bad guys. And we went and we locked up in a month, 400? We saved 115 kids, and you haven't even seen the beginning, because those 400, a lot of them are talking. And when you log onto that network next, you have no idea what we're doing. You think you're safe in your dark web? I promise you are absolutely not safe. You have no idea what we can do.
Whole lot more animated talking about that. And again, I don't have a problem with that. That's the stuff I want the FBI doing, not terrorizing political opponents. But I'm using that. I'm not criticizing what he's saying in that video. I'm using that so you guys can compare his demeanor change in the same interview. The same interview. Which leads us to ask the question, what do these guys know? Why are they so uncomfortable talking about this all of the sudden? Something that both of them, you can go back and check the tapes, prior to assuming their office, had a whole lot to say about, with a whole lot different tone. I don't believe that they got in there and saw that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. If he did, show us the proof. You guys just keep saying, believe me, believe me, believe me. You haven't given us a whole lot of reasons to believe you. Not just you, the FBI and the shadow government, the deep state, the intelligence agencies, whatever you want to call them, as a whole, haven't really done a whole lot to earn the American people's trust. So what did you see when you went in there? I don't think they've been compromised. Which means they saw something. When I say I don't think they've been compromised, I don't think they have dirt on these guys, doing some pedophile stuff on Epstein's. I saw theories about that floating around. I think that's just as ridiculous. I wonder what's going on here. I wonder, did they get in there with the intention? Because these are bona fide anti-establishment guys. These guys aren't like the guys Trump appointed in his first term as office. Kash Patel ruined his career going against the grain in the intelligence agencies, only to be reanimated when Trump took office. So these aren't jokes, right? These aren't empty suits that came in here promising to do all these things and then just decided, we lied to everyone. We're going to keep up the status quo. My guess is they saw something. I don't know if it's the Mossad connection. I don't know if they got in there and they're like talking all this big game and then got sat down on day one and said, hey, we can throw people a bone and release some of the details on this Epstein stuff. We cannot release that list. We cannot reveal who's on those tapes. Well, what do you mean? Well, why can't we do that? Because there's a lot of people out there in the world leaders, business leaders, military figures, political figures that we have dirt on here in the United States, enough to ruin their lives, get them sent to prison, end their careers, sued into bankruptcy. And that list and that evidence against them is a bargaining chip for the United States internationally, and maybe even here at home. That's what I'm wondering. Has the FBI, has the CIA, have the deep state intelligence agencies compromised the Epstein list for themselves to use to blackmail people? Did they get a hold of that evidence, of that list from Jeffrey Epstein, and use it to blackmail people, both foreign and domestic? Did they say, hey, we're going to lose a whole lot of leverage internationally that we have all over the world if that list gets out? Why don't you just shut up and throw people a bone? The problem is this isn't something people are willing to forget. I told you, the day of the 5-minute news cycle where we just forget about things are over. Yes, the stories change quickly, but things like that, and politicians are finally being held accountable to the things they promised. People aren't letting these things go. The day and age where politicians, both elected officials or appointed, can come in making all these wild promises and not deliver on any of them are over. You don't get to do that anymore. You're going to be held accountable. We're going to hold your feet to the fire on everything because we have receipts, thanks to the internet, of everything. In real time, I can pull up videos of Kash Patel and Glenn Beck saying things like this.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book.
FBI.
But who? That is that. I mean, there's.
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting of the Catholic school.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen that, right? It's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out. The FBI airmailed into that operation and said this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation. All these local law enforcement communities get funding from the DOJ and FBI for local programs. And if you don't cooperate, you're not getting your $1 million for this, and you're not getting and that's a lot of money to these local districts. That's how they play the game. That's why you don't have a Black Book or the manifesto.
But the Black Book, it's not just sitting. I mean, that's Hoover power times 10.
And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the Black Book. And not just that. On day one, roll out all of the text messaging communications we were told were deleted. On day one, play the rest of the video of the pipe bomber. On day, one of the reforms I talk about in government gangsters is you need a central node to be continuously declassifying. This is another thing they do. They overclassify. And I'm telling you, as a former number 2 in the IC, they overclassify 50% of the stuff there to protect the deep state. Oh, no, you can't see that. Nothing to see here. Gina was a master at it, of doing it. And we still haven't seen half of the Russiagate report that we wrote. Still under lock and key. On how the ICA was originally constructed. We put 10,000 man hours against John Brennan's team that did it. And we found out why they came up with their bogus conclusion. But we couldn't sell it to the world because we couldn't talk about it. And the government gangsters came in and buried it. All of these things, there needs to be a continuing central power, whether it's the White House or offsite, that says every request that comes in, just right out the door, as long as it's not a major threat to national security.
I said it's under direct control, and they'll have it out day one. What were you going to say?
They look like they're sitting in a furniture store.
I know that setup does really look like an IKEA or something, Nebraska Furniture Mart or something like that. But this is it, day one. Day one, it's on the director of the FBI, has total control. Day one, release it. We're way past day 100. Still nothing. Are they in over their heads? Was it easier said than done? Did somebody get to them? Did they realize that the people couldn't handle the truth? Or did they realize that some of their friends were on the list? Did they realize that it was a foreign asset for the United States government? Was it some combination of all those things? I don't know. All we can do is speculate. Drop a comment on YouTube or Rumble what you think it was. And here's the thing that's the most frustrating about this. I talked about that Operation Restoring Justice, which is a great thing. We had a guy in Omaha recently who came on to a nonprofit. And he went on a rant in the middle of this seminar at this nonprofit, at this conference, I guess you could call it. And he started going on a rant about how, under Trump, Clinton, Obama, Bush, they got all the resources they need to combat human trafficking, and the Biden administration totally tossed them to the side. And that's something that people should be outraged about, absolutely. But then, and then Trump comes back, and we're actually getting some movement on it. They're arresting hundreds of human traffickers. The disappointing part about this, though, is it shows you that institutional change within the FBI is possible. And it's possible to make that change quickly. Because overnight, seemingly, you saw a concerted effort to undo past policies of the previous administration that basically just shrugged its shoulders at human trafficking and pretended it didn't exist, and target these scumbags so they can make change. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, the folks within this administration, they have it in them, and they have the desire in them to go in and make prompt changes. They can accomplish things, and they can accomplish them relatively quickly. Yet they continue to drag their feet, circle the wagons, and give us the runaround on this Epstein list thing. Something stinks, guys. They can get shit done. They're choosing not to get this done. I don't know. Stay vigilant on it. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is on a warpath right now. That's the one I had next, right? Yeah. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is on a warpath right now. The FDA, Department of Health, no longer recommending the COVID vaccine to anyone under the age of 65 without health issues. So if you're, diabetic and morbidly obese at 43, then yeah, you can still get it. This is a big deal, though, because now it means schools these nut job liberal public schools can't require your kids to get the COVID shot to attend school. That's a big deal on its own. It's also a big deal in terms of admitting, hey, we got this one wrong. They also ordered Pfizer and Moderna to update the COVID vaccine warnings, adding heart injury risk in teen boys and young men.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah, big deal there. Big deal. So we're finally getting some movement on the COVID vax. I don't think anyone's going to be held responsible for it. You're not going to see arrests in Nuremberg 2.0, but you're finally seeing a change in direction where there's people in power. It is refreshing, specifically from Trump, who was still a pretty big fan of the vaccine when he took office, because he sees it as an accomplishment of his administration, where we should be able to separate the vaccine itself from Operation Warp Speed. Operation Warp Speed, which was the goal to get the vaccine out to the public, was a success. They did a damn good job at that in Trump's first term as president. They said, we need to get this out quickly, and they did. They got it out in less than a year. That's unprecedented. It's not Trump's fault that the vaccine sucked and killed a bunch of people and caused all these issues for people. That's not his fault. He did what he could. He wasn't one of the doctors actually making the vaccine. So it's good to see the tone at least change a little bit from this administration, maybe scaling things back on the whole COVID shot. Mia, have you gotten your booster?
No, I didn't even get the first full shot.
Oh yeah, that's.
I got one of the first part, but never went back for
I did the same thing. I got the first shot. My audience is gonna kill me. I got the first shot.
In your defense, you had to though.
Oh, because
we were going on vacation.
Because I was flying. Yeah. I got the first shot. I figured I'd pumped enough crap into my body, legal and illegal, that it really didn't matter. One shot. I never got another one. I do it again, I wouldn't do it, but I'm still here today. I don't have any problems for it. Lesson learned, bullet dodged kind of thing, right? But it is nice to see the administration change up their tone on this one a little bit, to see the federal government come out and finally get something right. RFK Jr. also said that he gave a whole thing on cell phone usage, specifically in teens, smartphones. He dared to make the radical suggestion that, as we all know, radiation comes from cell phones, and maybe it's not a great idea to have little radiation boxes on our person, in our pockets, and up to our head all day, every day. He dared to say that. He suggested that specifically in young people, but everybody, if you're going to talk on the phone, hold the phone away from your head and talk on speakerphone. Talk on the hands-free driving in your car. So here's my question, and I've never seen the study. I don't know what the rates are. But if talking on speakerphone can prevent brain cancer, does that mean black people get less brain cancer? I'm just asking questions here. I hope one of our commenters can we ask ChatGPT? Let me ask ChatGPT real quick here. I'll pull it up on my phone. Do black people get brain cancer at higher or lower rates than white people? Let's see. What do you think it's going to be?
I think it'll be lower.
We might, if it says lower, we might be onto something here.
You know, I don't know what I was going to say.
Oh my God. Black people in the United States tend to have lower rates of brain cancer than everybody else. Oh, there's something to be said. Guys, using your phone and speakerphone on public or out in public will help you avoid. This is the only conclusion I can draw here. I can't think of any other reason. We're just drawing conclusions. You come up with another explanation. The Department of Health, or the head of the Department of Health, comes out and says, hey, if you use your phone on speakerphone and hold it further away from your head, you'll get less brain cancer. Black people get less brain cancer.
My nigga.
I think that there's our study right there. Scientific study. Conducted right here on that space. You just watched it. Peer-reviewed. We're shipping it off to MIT tomorrow. They're going to pay me millions of dollars for it. He also had this, his Make America Healthy Again initiative where he's trying to get people off of these poison, the poison in water and the poison in food and all these horrible oils that we all consume every day. He had this little exchange with Washington Senator Patty Murray. Go ahead and check this out.
You can.
And I also want to point out.
I have just 2 minutes left. I asked you a specific.
I want to point out something, Senator. You presided here, I think, for 32 years. You presided over the destruction of the health of the American people.
Well,
our people are now the sickest people in the world.
Seriously,
because you have
Mr.
not done your job.
Seriously. That is an
what have
amazing
you done about it? What have you done about the epidemic of chronic disease?
Mr. Secretary,
what have you done about the epidemic of chronic disease?
Seriously, Madam
Secretary,
Chairman.
I would ask it to hold back and let the senator ask the questions.
Mr. Secretary, I'm asking you a question.
It's about time somebody calls these ghouls out. What have you done? You've done nothing but make it worse. That woman's been the head of that committee for as long as I've been alive. And chronic disease, cancer, obesity, you name it, has continued to skyrocket. If you had that job in the private sector and had all those factors working against you, you would have been fired after the first 2 or 3 years. They would have said, all right, this ain't working out. Football coaches are held to higher standards than they are. I'm not a doctor, as we know. I didn't even know what an oncologist did. I still don't.
It's a cancer doctor.
Cancer. See, I knew that all along. Why didn't you believe me? I'm not a doctor. What I will say is whatever the hell we're doing in the medical system in this country is not working. I don't have to be a doctor to tell you that skyrocketing rates of cancer, skyrocketing rates of obesity, skyrocketing rates of diabetes and heart disease indicate that what we're doing is not working. I don't have to be an accountant to tell you that if your credit card debt at the beginning of the year is $2,000 and at the end of the year it's $8,000, that you're bad with your money. I don't have to be a football analysis guy, like an analyst or whatever, to be able to tell you that if a coach continues to have a losing record year in and year out, he's doing something wrong. I don't have to be a doctor to tell you all of those things mean we're doing something wrong. Can I also rant for a second here? It's my show, so I'm going to rant. Don't you shake your head at me. You're fired. I'm going to rant. It's my show. It bothers me how often doctors get things wrong in this country. And we just shrug our shoulders and forget about it. We don't even worry. Like, we're just way too chill with it as a society. The number 3 cause of death, untimely death, in the United States behind cancer and heart disease is medical malpractice. It's ahead of murder. It's ahead of suicide. It's ahead of car accidents, on-the-job accidents, you name it. Drug overdoses, all of them. medical malpractice. And when you consider how the insurance industry and the healthcare industry is rigged against the patients, that number's probably double what's actually being reported. Because medical malpractice deaths, they only count the egregious deaths where they go in for a surgery and they accidentally leave something sticking inside of you and you die from an infection 2 days later. They don't count it as malpractice when your doctor misdiagnoses or just flat out misses that lump on your x-ray for 4 years and it turns out to be stage 4 cancer and kills you in 6 months. That's not counted as malpractice. If a referee misses a call in a football game, we bust the pitchforks out for him. If the weatherman tells you it's going to be sunny for your fishing trip and it's raining all day, you want to go burn his house to the ground. All you talk about all weekend is how much you hate that fucking weatherman. But a doctor misdiagnoses your lung cancer as symptoms of your arthritis for a decade, and then it turns into stage 4 and kills you, and we just go, oh, well, that's the nature of the game. What are you going to do? Now, imagine if that referee blew 250,000 calls a year. He'd get fired. If NFL referees blew 250,000 calls a year, there would be a boycott. The game, the league would go under, because that's how many people doctors kill a year officially with medical malpractice. The league would go under. People would stop watching it because it would be egregious. Yet for whatever reason, doctors get all these people killed, and we're just like, what are we going to do? They're the experts. We treat it like the Burger King employee forgot to give you pickles when a doctor fucks up and misreads your mammogram and kills you. It is completely insane. We give these arrogant fucks way too much leeway in this country. They're the experts. We got to refer to them on everything. Let's trust the doctors. Trust the experts. Yeah, it might get you killed, but trust them. It's a giant scam. And I'm not saying all doctors are quacks or anything like that. There's just way too much arrogance that they have, that they walk around with. And there's way too much trust assessed to people that fuck up all the time. Non-trustworthy individuals. We're all way too chill about how bad these people are with their jobs. It's like I said, Starbucks fucks your coffee order up and you're bitching about it all day. You might even call the Starbucks, go back and rip them a new one. But the doctor fucks up and it's like, well, what can you do? That's just how it goes. Pathetic. Ridiculous. We put way too much stock into these people, way too much trust into the most arrogant profession out there. And I have numbers to back that up. Doctors are less likely to retire millionaires than public school teachers. Did you know that? Because they go into crippling debt so that they can appear to be wealthy. Because they're arrogant fucks. They're materialistic, vain, arrogant jackasses. What I'm saying is these people cannot protect you the way they claim to. So when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. gets on there and he has shouting matches with these idiots in the Senate that have been poisoning this country and killing our kids for decades now, he's not doing it to grandstand. He's not doing it for clout and clicks. This is a guy who's passionate about what he believes in. He may get a couple of things wrong. He may say some things I disagree with, but he's passionate about what he believes in when he says it. So it makes sense that he gets angry. This isn't a grift for him. This is life or death. And he just gets, and what does the medical community do? They label him as a lunatic. That's their go-to. Character assassination. Anyone who has a question gets laughed at and scoffed at like they're a flat earther. That's what they do. You know who else did that? That's in the Andrew Tate playbook. Andrew Tate, screenshots from their messages in their war room or whatever it is they call it. One of the things they said they would do is if somebody criticizes him and it's a legitimate criticism, you have to discredit that person as an individual, imply they're a pedophile or an abuser or whatever the case may be, just character assassination. That's the same thing that the medical community does if you ask legitimate questions, good faith questions. When people come out and say, hey, like the big thing with vaccines, I know a lot of people who aren't anti-vaccine. They don't have a problem with vaccinating their kids. Their concern is with giving their kids all these vaccines at the same time, which might be a legitimate concern. Does your kid need 12 vaccines before they're 6 months old? And instead of answering that question, the medical community scoffs at them, labels them an extremist, and they go, well, the only people who want anything to do with me now are the anti-vaxxers. And that's when they drift off into cuckoo land, and they find all these people that won't even vaccinate their kids for measles. And those are the sympathetic ears that are willing to hear them out, because the medical community wouldn't even entertain them with the time because it is full of arrogant jackasses. And those people have real questions. I'm not anti-vaccine. I do have questions as to why I need to give my kid before their first birthday a hepatitis vaccine. That's a vaccine that you get from unprotected sex and dirty needles. I hope to God my kid's not having unprotected sex before their first birthday, and they're certainly not sharing needles with drug addicts or reusing tattoo needles. All my 1-year-old's tattoos will be done in a reputable shop where they only use new needles. That's a legitimate question. Same with the HPV one. It's meant to prevent, it's an STD. Why do you need to give a kid a shot so young for an STD? Plus, those vaccines wear off. So wouldn't it make more sense anyways to wait until they're a little bit older so you can get maximum efficacy? I mean, so it's not wearing off when they're 25 and it's wearing off when they're 40 instead. Wouldn't that make more sense when you wait till the age where they might be sexually active to give it to them? If I'm wrong, let me know. If someone from the medical community would like to come on my show, I won't call you an arrogant jackass unless you act like one, and genuinely answer my questions without talking down to me, without labeling me a conspiracy theorist, without anything. If someone from the medical community would like to come on my show and tell me why, I'm willing to hear you out. I'm asking questions. I'm not just spitballing, trying to rile people up. I genuinely want to know why we need to give kids all these vaccines at such an early age at the same time. Is it so people won't look into them and they'll just do it all right away and they won't have a choice? Is that what it is? Because that's kind of what it feels like, because you guys spent the last 5 fucking years lying to us about COVID and the origins of it and the vaccine. So now I've got some questions. It's again, just like with the Biden cancer thing. If you lied to us about that, what else are you lying to us about? You lied to us about the COVID vaccines. You lied to us about where COVID came from. You lied to us about how dangerous it was. You lied to us about how it was transmitted. You lied to us about how to protect ourselves from it. What else is the medical community lying to us about? I don't know if we want to open that can of worms, to be completely honest, because I think we're going to find out if we really start going down that rabbit hole and we really crack the medical industry open the way that we've cracked the Biden administration open, we're going to find out that there's a whole lot of stuff that we've considered to be common, healthy practices that aren't all that good for us. I don't think we're ready for that as a society, but I think it might be time to rip the bandage off. It's time to start digging into it. And I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm not. I plan to vaccinate my kids for most of it. Not COVID and that crap, but for most of it. But I do want an explanation from someone, anyone in the medical community. If you can prove that you're a medical doctor, not a chiropractor, a medical doctor, and come on my show and tell me why we need to give a 1-year-old the HPV vaccine, I'm all ears. Come on here and give me your reasons. But you're not, but I know they're not going to do that. None of them will do that. All they'll do is they say they don't want to entertain someone like me, a conspiracy theorist. They don't want to platform it or legitimize it or give me the opportunity to put some type of spin on it, because that's all they do. Because they can't fucking argue the point, because they know it's common sense. And if they actually get called on it and have to defend this bullshit from somebody, they can't do it. When we remove their high ground and we don't allow them to argue with the appeal to authority fallacy any longer, they can't defend their so-called points. I'm done. It's fucking pissing me off. I lost time to talk about Nancy Mace showing her big old titties on the congressional floor now. Should we talk about her real quick? Nancy Mace tried to, there's a debate about filming people in private, and Nancy Mace told everyone that she was going to go on and expose her ex-husband or boyfriend or whatever he was for illegally recording her in private without her consent, and she was going to bear it all and show her naked body on the congressional floor. So naturally, myself and every other guy in the country tuned into C-SPAN for the first time in their lives, right? I mean, Nancy Mace, she's a lunatic because she was the one who was yelling at that guy in the Alta, but she got some cannons, right? So we're like, all right, let's see. So we all tuned in, and we were all very disappointed because this is the picture she showed here. No, sorry, next one. That's it, right there. That's it. CCTV, we were thinking we were going to see a sex tape or shower footage or something like that. We get CCTV footage. You could barely see. She's in a fucking nightgown.
She looks like a ghost.
I know. It's like you'd see. It's like on the TikTok ghost sightings or something. She's in a nightgown walking across her living room. That is hardly proof. She blue-balled the whole country, Nancy Mace did. Very disappointed. Very upset, Nancy. Trump was probably pissed, too. He was probably getting excited and whatnot. She basically used her job as a congresswoman to go in front or to go onto the House floor on the taxpayer's dime and beef with her ex-boyfriend. It's like, like people will remember when subtweeting was a thing, posted about each other on Facebook, all that trashy shit. She did the ultimate subtweet. She's like, oh yeah? Fuck you. I'll go in front of Congress and talk shit on you. And I'll try to tie it to the bill like it's relevant or anything like that. Here's the thing, guys. Nancy Mace, I told you guys a couple of weeks ago in this start that she had decided she was going to make the trans culture war thing her entire brand. And at first, a lot of us agreed with her. Then it just kind of got cringy, and then her behavior became more and more erratic. And she's a conservative Republican that I probably agree with on way more than I disagree with her. The problem is she overplayed her hand with the trans thing. She thought that was going to be an issue forever. It looks like the deal's already done. I mean, like we won the culture war on the trans thing. I'm not saying we totally ignore it, but right now she's that third string quarterback for Alabama when they're up by 56-0 on Sam Houston State in the third quarter. Like, yeah, go ahead and play the game, but don't get upset when everyone's tuned out and they're not watching. And she's realized that we're not watching. So now she's had to do what every other female in the media sphere does when their grift is running out of steam, which is take her clothes off. How long till the OnlyFans? Before or after the end of the year?
After.
After? She might wait until she gets beat in a primary or something like that before she does that. Maybe that's how she'll raise money for her campaign. OnlyFans. Anyway, that's been our show. I don't like doctors anymore. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. We'll see you on Monday. Stay based. Happy Memorial Day.